Anyhow, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, we are studying Yoga-Sutra and the commentary by Vyasa. And I'm also referring the explanations from Vachaspati Mishra, another guy, and a Tika, critical commentary by Vigyan Bhikshu, so that we have a clear understanding. And then I have divided these sutras into different headings, so that it becomes easy for you to understand. Third point, that we are studying Yoga-Sutra why? To study ourselves. So when you study yourself in light of these Yoga-Sutra, you bring about a change in your attitude, your personality, your behavior, your life. And what is the goal? Goal is the self-discovery. And what is the self? That real self is of the nature of pure consciousness, truth, permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Do we want all these? Or we have other stuff to do in our life? So that makes you a seeker. If you think, contemplate and reflect, what is the ultimate goal of earning wealth? What is the ultimate goal of having a marriage or a lovely spouse? What is the goal of having a car? So if you find the ultimate goal is happiness, that is what the Yoga-Sutra teaches. Ultimate goal is the happiness, peace in my life. But if I see happiness outside in the world, happiness is not there. Happiness is not in the pet, not in the car, not anywhere. So, but how we feel and experience happiness? We experience happiness being with our honey, being with the pet, being with the car. Leslie has started thinking that's the right way. Yes. So, you see that? So, Alexandria has come. So, you see that? So, you cannot get very good. So, you are smiling. It means you have a very good morning today. Or you are tired. Tired. Very good. Even listen with the fatigue and the tiredness.
I'm happy to be here now.
You're happy to be here now. Good.
My computer wasn't working, so I had to go run and find my iPad and get. Luckily, it has a full battery on it.
Oh, good. So now see that happiness outside in objects of the world. And what is a thought? A mathematical equation of a thought that we covered, perhaps, if you remember. Thought is equal to an object plus IM. Mathematical equation. And we are studying the second part of the Yoga-Sutra, chapter 1. So I titled that, How the Mind is the Cause of Suffering and Means of Freedom. We returned again where we ended the lesson last week. So if the thought is equal to object plus I am, do I know who I am? And do I know the exact nature of an object? That object may be our honey, maybe a person, maybe a time, That is why, Lara was saying very tidy morning. Really? So morning is an object and my mind experiences tidiness. So you see the thought? Thought is equal to object plus I am. So our master Patanjali is saying, understand these thought patterns. Not only when you are listening to this guy, but 24/7. Why? To make your life better. So, we understood, what do we understood? The first, then Master Patanjali comes and he says, Vratayaha, Panchatayaha, Kleshta, Akleshta. So we understood last week how a particular thought causes pain and it does not cause a pain. So there is one element which is basic. If you like this guy, more or less you will find happy with this guy. This is also a thought. But if you dislike, then you say, okay, he talks too much. What I have to do, I have to understand the translation. I have to teach others without changing myself. That is also possible. That happens. So we understood last week in detail that a particular thought is painful and non-painful. Now see that it is painful at one time and it becomes non-painful at other time. It gives you pain at one time, it gives you pleasure at other time. If this black cat bites Leslie, think of what thought you will get. And if the cat loves you, object is the same. Liking and disliking, where it happens, in the mind. That is what we understood in detail. And now we have to understood the Sutra number 6, where he says there are trillions of the thoughts. First chapter, maybe if you understand it clearly, the entire yoga is clear. It is meant for the highest level of seekers. So I told you before also, do you remember that our master starts teaching only the highest principle? So they have a liberty to go down. If they start teaching you from the alphabets, they don't have a liberty to go down. So that is what we are learning. So Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra smratayaha. Yoga-Sutra number 6. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra smratayaha. In this sutra, the master says that bring all these thought patterns, all the thoughts, feeling, emotions, whatever you have, that you can express in thoughts, can be divided into 5 groups. All are thoughts, but they are divided into 5 groups. I am in stress, that is also a thought. I am happy, that is also a thought. Today is a very good morning for me, that is also a thought. Today is a tidy morning for me. I have to see, once anyone says it's a tidy morning, I want to see morning is the same everywhere. So where is the tidiness? Where is the bad in the morning or evening? So what it means? If you are not aware of yourself, you cannot start yoga. You cannot change yourself. Self-awareness is required. So the master says there are 5 groups of thoughts. Pramana. Pramana. We will go in detail, but for the sake of understanding, Pramana means the right knowledge, right perception, right knowledge, right thought, not according to you, according to yoga. According to you, morning is bad. Do you see that? Or morning is good. But what exactly is according to our masters, according to yoga? Why we are studying yoga, do you remember? How to teach others, to impress others. And you are teaching in a class to impress others, you teach a very deeper principle. And then you overheard, the guy is saying he or she is crazy, All your impression goes away. So you teach for yourself, you study for yourself, so that you are always happy. So first is the right perception. Second is the wrong perception or wrong thought or wrong knowledge. In a thought that gives you a wrong knowledge. Now examine, today is a bad morning. Is it a right thought or a wrong thought? I have to just become aware of it. I am stressed. Is it a right thought or a wrong thought? Third group of the thoughts is known as vikalpa. Vikalpa means alternative or imagination or fancy. The fourth one is nidra. Sleep is also considered a thought. We will understand that. And the fifth one is the memory. So we have 5 groups of thoughts. And each group of thoughts is either painful or non-painful. You see that? So we have total number of thought pattern, 10. Total number of thought pattern is 10. I remember something. Do you have an attention span? We talk a lot about ADD, ADHD, and compare it with these thought patterns. I've taken care of many kids in New Jersey who have these problems. Think of it and compare it with the 5 or the 10 groups of thoughts. Liking thoughts causes the distraction. Disliking thought also causes the distraction. So how to hold on these minds of the kids on the thoughts that they like? Or can I create an interest in those thoughts? The answer is yes, the problem is gone. Anyhow, that I remember. So there are 5 groups of thoughts. And what is a thought? Always remember. Object plus I am. I don't know I am. I don't know the right true nature of an object. So I do not have a right knowledge about that thought. I have a wrong knowledge, or it may slip into fancies or imagination, or I may feel sleeping. So even while listening to me, you feel sleepy. Think of it. It is good to feel sleepy while listening. Then I am happy you don't ask any question. So you see that? So now, uh, no, I think I will, let me drop it, directly go. So we have understood the two classifications. So total number of thoughts is 10. Did you understand that point? 5 groups of thoughts, painful and now. Now going to the Yoga-Sutra 7 in detail. It's very important that we have a right knowledge, right thought pattern, so that we can live our life from today happily. You don't need to practice meditation. If you raise your awareness, you live into those moments where the thought provides you the right knowledge, right perception at every moment in your life. You will find out, if someone says, no, I have a lot of stress, you will say, why he or she has a stress? There is no need. It is not required. So, pratyaksha anuman agama pramanani. Pratyaksha anuman agama pramanani. That is what is the first group of thoughts. So how we translate in the first group of the thought? Right knowledge arises from the direct perception, inference, and the shabda, the agama. Right? Yoga-Sutra number 7. That is the literal translation. So then we have to find out. What we have to find out? You see, this is the Yoga-Sutra number 7. Pratyaksha anuman agama pramanani. So what the master is saying, what is right knowledge? The thought that gives me right knowledge. Either by direct perception, one, second by inference, third by agama, third by the testimony and the teachings of the masters.
Girish, may I ask a question?
Yes, Brandy, yes, you can ask. Leslie, yes.
Hi. So could you just define what he means by inference here? Because when I hear that, I kind of think assumption, which would actually not be right knowledge.
Right. We are going in detail on this sutra.
Okay.
So the first group of thought is what is known as? It is known as Pramana. So pratyaksha, right knowledge. So what is that right knowledge or pratyaksha? Arise from 3 sources. Actually, Eastern wisdom says it arises from 8 sources. But here the Patanjali has categorized only 3 sources. Look at John. Every master has their own perception. So actually it arises from 8 sources, but we will only talk about the 3 sources. I'll give a brief reference. So Leslie is right. Right knowledge arises first from direct perception. So we have to understand what is direct perception. And then we will understand what is inference. And then we will understand what is the agama or testimony or teachings of the masters, why they are authentic, why they give me the right knowledge. We should understand that. So then the mind will. So now I will just keep it. So keep it for your reference. I will explain what Vyasa is saying. Vyasa means commentator. So it is this commentary. So I will explain you this commentary and give some reference to the other commentators, Vachaspati Mishra and Vijnana Bhikshu. First understand what is the word Pramana. First group of thought is known as Pramana. Pramana means the proof or instruments of true or right knowledge. Pramana. You wake up, you see the sunlight, in your room. Did you see it today when you woke up? Yes. Huh? You didn't see that? You have a blackout curtain? You don't have a blackout curtain? What Lara means to...
When I have to get up, there's no sun.
There is no sun. But now you see that there is a sunlight in your room. Did you see the sun outside? So you have an inference that there is a sun outside. That is why you have a sunlight. So that is one way to understand what is inference, Leslie. We will understand later in detail. So the pramana means what? The proof or instruments of true or correct knowledge. The word pramana has 3 syllables. Pra, meaning outward. Ma, meaning measurement. Na, means correct or right knowledge. Right thinking, notion. See that? Pra means outward, first syllable. Ma means measurement. And na means right knowledge. So when you are able to measure through the means of the knowledge, and the thought and the knowledge that you get is known as pramana. What is the measurement? That I see I am giving a class. You all are present here. I see through my sense organ. Sense organ are the means of the knowledge that gives me that I am not speaking to emptiness. I am speaking to people present here. That is right knowledge. See that? First group of pramana, first group of right thought is known as pratyaksha. First is direct perception. Sense organ are seeing you. Clear? A thought may be a pramana or not. That is very clear. We have 5 groups of thoughts. We are clear. So, a thought may be a pramana, may be a right knowledge, may not be a right knowledge. Are you clear? Yes, go further. So when we understood the very word, Sanskrit word pramana, pramana contains the essence of right measurement with the right perception. Right measurement. Sense organ looks at Leslie. Right perception. What is the right measurement? In terms of the society, we have been living. Leslie is a woman. Now if I let me add beautiful women. So, right measurement, right perception, it becomes a right thought. You buy 1 meter of cloth, so it is a balance that measures 1 meter. The pramana is a balance and weighs and gives a length of 1 meter. Whatever we know in life through the thought, with the right perception, with the clarity through the sense organ, is right perception. Then what happens? If it is, you put lot of adjectives before measuring any object outside, it may become a wrong. One day you say, my honey is so good, so good, so good. And the second time, that goodness goes away. So it's a problem of my mind. That we will understand. be very clear about Pramana, vritti, Pramana thought pattern. Why? Now see that one thing you should understand. You just keep an awareness that the knowledge will remain the knowledge. Knowledge cannot be changed. That is the focus here. We all are human beings. That knowledge will never change. Right? What changes in my mind? You are crazy human being. From where the word craziness has come? From my mind. Why my mind has perceived this? Because of liking and disliking. Can I live with the Pramana, the right knowledge all the time? Why should I make my mind crazy? We are learning to study ourselves. So if you have that clarity in your mind, then the smile will never be lost, brandy on your face. Otherwise, your mind will start thinking even while you are learning. Go a little deeper. Every living being uses Pramana, including the ant. Understand it clearly. They have a low level of self-awareness. That is why they cannot control outside. But otherwise, ant knows where is the food and where is the dust. The ant doesn't pick up the dust particle. Do you see that? They use the Pramana. Do you understand? Cat uses the Pramana, the dog uses the Pramana. If you attract the dog with a piece of paper, they will say, okay, master, you are crazy. But if you attract with the food, they say, yes, yes. You see, they are using Pramana. So don't feel that we are bestowed with lot of good quality. They also use the Pramana, the right knowledge. Right knowledge. You see that? Dog recognizes their master. They use the Pramana. But we recognize in our honey, you are crazy. That's a different thing. We are more intelligent than the human beings. Than these animals. You see? Pramana. Understand, you have to live in those thought pattern in your day-to-day life, and the life is going to change. Understand step by step. Pramana or right knowledge expands to 8 stages. There are 8 types of Pramana. But we are understanding only the 3. Pratyaksh Pramana. Pratyaksh means direct perception. Second is inference. We get the right knowledge by inference. And we get the right knowledge by agama. Agama means simply testimony of the past masters who validated the true nature. So we'll not go into the 8 one. 3 one is direct knowledge or direct knowledge by the sense organ. Direct knowledge by the sense organ. So you see that direct knowledge by the sense organ to happen in our mind, several conditions needs to be fulfilled. We are going deeper. Direct perception through the sense organ. To recognize Leslie as a Leslie, Leslie must be in the range of my eyes. If she is too far, I cannot recognize her. If she is too close, I cannot see her. You see the direct perception? Take an example of the eye. So, If I see Lara through my eyes, what are the conditions to be fulfilled? The light. There must be a light. I cannot see her in darkness. My eyes must be right. That's why I have glasses. Then, you as an object in the range of my eyes and willingness to see you. If I close my eyes and I say, where is Lara? You see that? So sometimes we close our mind. I don't want to see what is good on you. Everything is bad. Enough is enough. So we are not living in the right knowledge. I am hitting your mind. I am breaking your wrong notions in the mind. It's a practical lesson. Are you getting it? Even if you are in my range, but my mind is not ready to see what is right. I don't see Christina and Alexius. So, pratyaksha pramana, direct perception, direct knowledge I get through the sense organ. Are you clear? Another point here is very important. You see the beauty of the Eastern psychology, discovered 6,000 years ago, still relevant today. Once you understand, you simply play with the thoughts. Thoughts do not play with you. The mind doesn't play with you. The entire goal is, let me work on the mind instant the mind is working on me. I instantly recognize mind, you are moving in a wrong direction. Hold on. You drop it, you are happy. Then you are already in a state of mindfulness, here and now. Come back. Pramana. Pramana, direct perception. First group, first understanding, it is by direct perception means by sense organ. All senses. Now the second point. Objectify the world of people, place and thing. What is the meaning of objectification? That you are Lara, here I am. You are an object, I am a subject. Are you getting it? You are a cat, I am a human being. That is why I see you. Objectify means what? Take a simple example. I consider everything in the world outside as objects. Have you heard many people are saying to their honey, are you using me as an object? Do you see that? But in all pleasures that we get outside, we use everyone outside as an object. It's not only a human relationship. Objectification. I use the car. That is why I say this. I use the phone. I don't see the right picture. So, here what we say, we objectify everything outside. Now, come back to yoga. This direct perception must fulfill minimum 3 conditions to have a right knowledge. So if my mind lives fulfilling these 3 conditions in everyday life, you will not find any stress and anxiety in your life. I met Lara. Lara is a name and the form with attributes and qualities. It is known as pratyaksha pramana, the direct perception that should never change. When we apply it in the subject of meditation, the 3 conditions are very important. That pratyaksha pramana, through the means of the thought, it can be explained in a language. Whatever I'm speaking, whatever the concept and the principle, it should be explained in a language. We may talk and express what meditation is or who Lara is, but it is not a direct experience of the listener. Are you understanding? It does not have any validity. The knowledge gained should not never change. It is known and confirmed, and the knowledge should be free from the doubt. 3 conditions of direct perception by the sense organ. I can explain it easily. I should put it into my expression. Second, the knowledge should not change. The Lara should not become Leslie. Leslie should not become Lara. Do you see that? Now, can you apply that in your daily life? Brandy is a human being. That's all. Finished. Whether she likes this guy or doesn't like this guy, can I hold on to this thought? Like and dislike comes, then I understand what is the cause of likes and dislikes. At least from my mind, I remove it. I maintain the status quo of the mind. The knowledge should not change. I have no reason to get into the stress and anxiety in my relationship at any point of time. Finished. Are you sure? Did you get it? So simply learning, it's a direct perception. No, we should go deeper. I am able to explain it correctly. The knowledge should not change, and the knowledge should be free from the doubt. To have a direct perception in my life day to day, and you have those thoughts. The moment the mind says it's a bad morning, mind, stop this nonsense. Morning is morning, it cannot be bad. Knowledge. You see that? Do you see the practical application? Do you see that practical application? Here in day-to-day life? Life changes. Right perception or knowledge is a choice. Projection and perversion are possibilities. What do you mean? My eyes are open and I'm looking at you. Direct perception. But then I create possibilities. John is wonderful. I can take example of a John rather than other may feel bad, We don't know who is studying Patanjali to study oneself. I love John. Why? To seek happiness. Let me hold on my mind. It is a projection. Let me express love for everyone, including the John. Here and now, we are carried away by likes and dislikes. Then there is a projection in the direct perception. It becomes the false perception. Are you getting it? We distort the direct knowledge. This is what Patanjali is saying. Any distortion leads you to stress, anxiety, duality, conflict. Pratyaksha. What we are studying? Pratyaksha. The first group of the thoughts has 3 main classifications. Even though it has 8, we are studying on. So Pratyaksha is 1, Anuman. Pratyaksha means the direct knowledge. Anuman, Agama. That is what the right knowledge is. See how intelligent we human beings are. Our animals recognize their masters. We change our relationship so fast. We are more intelligent than animals. You will not get these interpretations and explanations by modern authors. I wonder if they have written, unless they have gone into the traditional teaching. Now come to the second, what the Leslie was speaking. Inference. Where is Leslie? So anumana, inference. So the second way of getting the right knowledge, pramana, is it is known as anuman or paroksha, perception or knowledge by reasoning. Anuman, anu. The word anu, the first syllable means meaning after, and mana means measured. I measure after I put a logic. Just understand that. What is that? Oh, is it a morning? Yes. How do I see? I see the sunlight in the room. But it means the sun is outside. Do I see the sun? No. So first I put the logic. What? The sun is outside. Therefore the sunlight is here. Inside my room. That becomes an inference. Anumana. Pramana confirms the common qualities. Anumana can never be wrong if it is based on the valid knowledge. Now you'll be surprised and you have to think it over. We have, so first kind of knowledge we get, that you can say witness perception by sense organs. Clear? Witness perception by sense organs. Second knowledge we get it, witness perception without sense organ. Can you give me an example? Feeling, emotions, space. I don't see the space through the sense organ. Feeling. I don't see the videos of the people. They have gone. So you see that? Witness perception without sense organs. Now, if you have to do something while listening, it's okay. But, so you see that? Witness perception by sense organ, first type of knowledge. Witness perception without sense organ. What is without sense organ? My feeling, my emotions. I see the space. Clear?
I think another good word for inference might be deduction.
I'm coming to, yes.
So
third is,
therefore the sunlight in my room.
Yeah. So third is witness perception by reasoning. Deduction is one part of logic. Deduction, induction, a lot of stuff, I'm not going that deeper. So you see, first level, witness perception by sense organ. Witness perception without sense organ, my feeling, my emotions, the thoughts that are going inside. I don't see through the sense organ, but I see them. I feel them. I note them. I observe. And rightly Alex said, witness perception, I put a general term, reasoning. That includes deduction, induction. There are a lot of. So you have, 6 or 7 types of reasoning. 1-step reasoning, 2-step reasoning, 3-step reasoning. So when you say 2-step reasoning, it's a kind of deduction. But all the discoveries of the science are made based on the inference, Leslie, because it follows the reasoning, 2-step reasoning, 3-step reasoning, 4-step reasoning, 5-step reasoning. That is what I'm talking about. That is what our master says. Are you getting it? cat, sunlight, cat behaves like this. So we put a reasoning based on the valid knowledge. Based on the valid knowledge. Atom consists of particles. That is very clear. Particles behaves like waves. So the particles have dual nature. So we arrive knowledge by the inference. All the discoveries of the science, my friends, they are based on these reasoning. What reasoning requires? Reasoning requires higher awareness and alertness. If you are sleeping, if you are carried away by the thought, you lose your self-awareness, nothing will happen. Yoga demands that. Yoga demands. Self-awareness is the beginning of yoga. Self-awareness is the end of yoga. Finished. So we have covered the two types of right knowledge, right perception. One is by direct perception, but I categorized into three. Witness perception by sense organ, witness perception by without sense organ, feeling and etc., etc. Witness perception by inference, or you can simply say by reasoning. One-step reasoning, two-step reasoning, three-step reasoning, multi-step reasoning is what the science is. We agree with it. One thing you should follow clearly, keep in your mind, that journey of yoga never, or I would say, journey of yoga accepts 100% the valid means of knowledge. Are you getting it? It does not oppose any means of knowledge. So what we say as a teacher in yoga, no, you do the practice and it will happen. Have a faith. No, it will not work. It will never work. Means we should accept all the valid means of knowledge. So all the first three valid means of knowledge. Now comes, before I go to the third one, pure belief. What is pure belief? It is blind belief. What is blind belief? That there is a heaven. Can you apply inference here to prove that there is a heaven? Yoga says drop it. Don't stretch it. Drop it from your mind. Is there a hell? No. Can you prove it by valid means of reasoning? No. Drop it. But if you talk of heaven and hell in the class of yoga, you are not following the traditional yoga. But if your belief is verifiable, you can verify that by practice, by reasoning, then you should believe. Clear? If it is blind belief and you preach, no, we normally preach blind belief. We become a preacher. We don't remain a teacher. You understand? We don't remain a teacher if you follow the blind belief, Leslie. Blind belief, one example. Is there a help? Can I prove it by valid means? No. Leave it. So now comes belief pending inquiry is the first characteristics of our text, tradition, wisdom, knowledge of yoga. Belief pending inquiry. I do not oppose witness perception by senses. I do not oppose witness perception without senses. I do not oppose witness perception by inference. Are you getting it? The fourth one, agama. It is the word agama. Agama means basically the previous text. We'll understand in detail. Third type of pramana, the right knowledge is agama by words written in the text of Eastern wisdom. Does it mean blind belief? Be very clear. It does not mean blind belief. No, it belief, blinding inquiry. It is like a scientific hypothesis to be proved by practice and logic. Am I clear? Don't believe. But you have to start from somewhere. So in the third sutra, what the master says, when you empty the mind, what will happen? The knowledge of the real self will be revealed. What will happen? It will bring an end to the suffering. So that is our hypothesis, followed by a verifiable statements, principles, practices that will lead us to that nature. Are you clear? So, Eastern wisdom follows verifiable belief based on the teachings of the masters. That is why we have to follow the tradition as it is. We should not include anything of my own style of yoga, my own style of meditation. It does not exist, but still we force. So we have millions of styles of meditation. That is why ask yourself how many people are awakened by my or your style of meditation. Don't be so serious. It's so easy. Why it is easy? You all are wise, intelligent people. Huh? Alexandra, she says, I agree. Very good. So, what happens? Now there is a unique challenge to the seekers. Are you a seeker? It gives you a challenge. Live in the right perception. Leslie, always live in the right perception from today. Mind says, I have a stress. Hold on, mind. Let me examine. Let me examine. I can promise you that 80% of your stress will go away the moment you start examining. And the rest 20% you already have a practice. You do the practice, it is gone. Krishna, it is possible, 100% possible. Unique challenge to the seekers. What happened, Leslie? So, what is that? Agama are these texts. Why these authentic texts? Because the knowledge is revealed in deep meditation. There is another meaning of the Agama. If you can see the essence of the Agama. These Agama texts, it is said that there is no author. Why there is no author? Because when I sit in meditation doing nothing, the knowledge reveals in me, that is scribed and became the text. So there is no personal element here. Do you see that? There is no personal element. So all the authentic text of yoga are revealed in deep meditation. It means if it is revealed in the meditation of those masters, why it cannot be revealed within me in deep meditation? So it's a verifiable approach. It can be verified, validated. Am I right? And if it is validated, do I pursue the path of yoga to validate that yes, the same knowledge is revealed in me also? That is what is known as awakening. That is known as the self-discovery. Are you clear? We are studying. Do you remember what we are studying? Because we are studying to study ourselves. We are studying the 5 group of thought pattern. The first we have concluded. It contains 3 means of knowledge. Or I have categorized into 4 for the sake of understanding. What are the 4 states? Right knowledge, witness perception by sense organ. So I have seen Lara. Next time I meet, she is only Lara. She cannot become Leslie. That is what the right means of knowledge, through the sense organ. Second, witness perception without senses. Can I see the thought through the other sense organ? No. Thought, feeling, emotions, etc., etc. So, that is another means of knowledge. Third, witness perception by reasoning. That is inference. And witness perception by the traditional wisdom. By these texts, authentic texts, their commentaries. Not my commentary. If it is my commentary, then it will be a problem. Huh? No, I told you that the people suffering from anxiety and depression, Kate knows, I have until 5 years ago, I used to keep my knowledge update of the science, especially of the Eastern psychology. So a lot of research papers were published, and they say that those who have chronic mental disorder, their IQ goes up as compared to the normal human being by 25 to 37%. Is it good to have higher IQ with mental challenges? That is the next question. So you see that they put lot of logic in a wrong direction to prove that they have a problem. And in fact, they don't have. That is why their IQ goes up. So we don't need IQ. We need our simple intellect to pursue the path of yoga. Come to the second level. So now the second says, what the second sutra says, just the opposite. Oh, I did not cover that point. Let me cover that point also. Yeah, I remember that. Whatever I remember. Because if I teach you next time, I'll have a different explanation. Why, there's a lot of things to be understood. But obviously based on the teachings of the master, not my own teaching. So understand, what we understand, the 5 groups of thoughts. First 2 group of these thought pattern is coming from the direct perception. The second, third and the fourth is indirect perception. And the fifth does not adhere either to the direct or the indirect perception. So, direct perception, your means are clear. Clear? All the 4 means are applied, you have a right knowledge. And if these 4 means are not applied, then what happens? Then there is a false perception. wrong knowledge, that is the second category of the thought. Still, it is a right perception. It is a direct perception, not a right perception. Yeah? It is a direct perception. All the four means are distorted, are opposed. Are opposed. So when it is opposed, then you have a wrong knowledge, and this wrong knowledge causes lot of problem in your life. Mind is the cause of the suffering. Mind is the cause of peace. Did you understand the 5 groups of the thought? First 2 group, right and the wrong perception. It follows right knowledge and the wrong knowledge. It follows what? The direct perception. The third and the fourth. Pramana viparya, vikalpa nidra, vikalpa and nidra, fancies, imagination and the sleep, follows the indirect perception. And the 5th one is the memory that we will take up. So 5. Now we have taken up this. So yes, the right, wrong, what is wrong knowledge? How simple. Now we understand it very clear. The water in a mirage, it is a false perception. I see the water through my eyes in a mirage. Yeah? In a desert. I see the blueness of a sky through my sense organ. But the sky is not blue. Do you see that? Right? But I don't see, when I say you are crazy, I am distorting my perception. How dare I can see other person is crazy? I don't see any wrong in it. Are you getting it? Will you stop saying this from today? To your friends and foes and near and the dear ones. Or even if you have to say, then say it with love. Oh, you seem to be very crazy. Still, I love you. John, what are you thinking? If you don't learn yoga in peace and happiness, there is no yoga. Forget about it. Throw the books. Stop learning. It should enter into your life, into your mind. So what is known as viparyaya? Viparyaya, the word viparyaya, it opposes the knowledge. That is the meaning. It simply opposes. Someone says, I love you, and you say, I know what kind of a love that you have. Come on, hold on. Keep your mind calm. If someone says that he or she loves you, hold on. Don't try to rationalize. So, Leslie, if you put an inference, there you put a logic and oppose the knowledge. It becomes viparyaya. Viparyaya. False knowledge is known as viparyaya. In Sanskrit, it is because the mind does not perceive the object as it is. Are you getting it? You do not see the object as it is. You are a human being, finished. Now come to the second. How it destroys our life. Think of it. There's a very detailed explanation. I'm not going into that by all the 3 great commentators. We all know money cannot buy happiness. Right? Do you agree? So should the mind be employed running all the time for the money? Should the mind live in stress to earn money? Ask yourself. Choice is with you. I project happiness in my honey where it is not. I am opposing knowledge. You can find this distortion, opposing knowledge, 24/7. My friends, you simply remove this viparya through your awareness. I was just talking to Kate before the beginning of a session. You don't need 9 or 10 hours of sleep. You simply remove viparya. You will find 5 or 6 and 6 hours of the sleep is enough. Number of thoughts present in the mind is directly proportional to your sleep. Less the number of thoughts, less the sleep. That is the secret. It's an open secret. Tomorrow you are going on a vacation. Your mind is possessed with a single thought, I will enjoy. Do you sleep? You don't get a sleep. You hardly get 2 or 3 hours of sleep and still you are fresh. It's not tidy in a bad morning. Why you are going on a vacation? Are you getting it? You have experienced. I'm talking only what you have experienced in your life. Can you change your life? Are you ready? The life will change. Every day is a vacation for me when I wake up. You see? No, I have a lot of things to do. I am always running. Stop running, my dear friend. I know whom I am addressing. I am not saying anything. Knowing as it is, following those means of right knowledge in the first category and opposing it leads to the false knowledge. That is why our masters have created another word. They say truth, untruth, and the mithya. Mithya means false. False means what appears true, it is not true. Sky appears blue, is not blue. Water appears in a mirage, not true, but it is not. I appear crazy, but it is not a fact. You appear crazy, it is not a fact. You are a human being first. Can I live into that state? You start living into that state from today and you will see, oh, life becomes so beautiful in you. Clear? The moment we see the world outside, the mind in ignorance follows this wrong perception. Why? Because of ignorance. What did I say? So where is the wrong knowledge? The moment I see and witness this world in ignorance, the false perception begins. Then I start comparing. Kate is good in this case and Lara is better in this case. Come on. That is not my job of the mind. The job of my mind is to live in peace and happiness. Love everyone. I have a wonderful friend who introduced me to Lara. I've been pleading her, please join the session. You need not to pay. Sometime, no, she says, okay, no, I am okay, I'm good. Why can't we remove ignorance? Because we are stuck to this wrong knowledge. knowledge that binds us. It is not it is false. It is not the false knowledge that binds us. It is the ignorance in me. I see you were honey 10 years ago. You were so sweet. You were so good. And now I distorted my perception. You are so cruel. You are so bad. Then we have to contact Eric. Yeah? So just remove that garbage. Why can't we remove the garbage? The mithya knowledge makes us helpless. This is the problem. Patanjali says this second category of the thought pattern makes us helpless. You see, Lara Kate, a counseling and a talk therapy. It is making you helpless. See that point. I have one client, who is suffering from fear. There is a fear. I think that if I go out with my pet, if I met with an accident. So I said, if you live in ignorance, I give you a guarantee that you will meet with an accident. Remove that ignorance. Wrong perception. This we are thinking of avoiding or escaping stress, fear, anxiety, fatigue, suffering in the life. But we don't want to remove this wrong perception. Mithya. Wrong perception. Are you getting it? Getting a feel of it? Wrong knowledge. What is wrong knowledge? Incomplete knowledge. So let me correct it. Let me think it over. Let me reflect. Why I can reflect? I have an intellect. How come? I am a human being. So human intellect has a choice to observe, to make a choice and control and regulate our thought pattern. Now see that. See the other point. What is the goal of, what is yoga? Higher state of meditation. That is what we have learned. What happens? It gives you it helps you to discover your nature. Now see that you have a clarity of understanding. Now you are sitting in meditation. You have a right thought. You continue with it. You have a wrong thought. You become aware of it. The thought will drop. That is the meaning that let the thought come and let it go. Did you understand that? Normally we say, let the thought come, let it go. So thought comes, my honey is crazy. So that thought remains with it. I have to understand. Are you getting it? We have to understand clarity. We are a human being. That is wrong. Wrong knowledge, the second category. Mithya, the false knowledge, enters the mind like a darkness in the absence of light. That is what one master says. I like this phrase. My mind is living in darkness. That darkness is ignorance. Mithya knowledge is our daily communication. My dear friend agrees with me that you are crazy. This is gossip. I should avoid gossip in my life. Like attracts like. My master used to say that in a village, in a remote countryside, a guy started using opium, eating opium a little bit, and so 50 people from the nearby villages gathered. Oh, there's an opium party. But when it comes to, okay, do meditation, nobody comes. He used to explain in his own language. You see that? So mithya knowledge is always in our communication. Oh, your spouse is doing like this, and we take too much of interest in that. Don't do that. Your mind will remain free. Don't drain your energy in the mind. Wrong knowledge. Mithya knowledge is our daily communication. No gossip. Now what happens with the wrong perception? You see the impact of this. This wrong knowledge forces one to live with what one likes and what is pleasant. And that goes against the journey of yoga. So if I examine in my daily life, what I do is what I like and what is pleasant to me. Let me examine and let me put myself in with the right thought. What is right thought for me? What is good thought for me? Now, rather than what I like and what is pleasant for me. Are you clear? Just think of it. You start thinking in that way. And Patanjali promises that 80% of the thoughts will go away. You remain relaxed. What is happening? When you live with the wrong knowledge, the word lives in you. And when you live with the right knowledge, you live in the world. Don't allow the world to live in you. Are you getting it? Have a clarity about these 5 thought patterns. And once you have a clarity, you sit in meditation, you know. Otherwise, you will complain, my body is moving. I cannot sit steady. It is because of the mind. Are you clear? Did you understand that? Do you agree? Don't agree with me, agree with Patanjali. Why you should agree with... Where is the smile, Lara, today? Now the third and the fourth. The third and fourth comes with the indirect perception. Third is vikalpa. Vikalpa means alternative. Imagination, fancy. A beautiful definition given by the Patanjali. That needs to be understood clearly. The third category. Vikalpa thoughts comes to my mind without any reality. There is no reality outside, but still my mind thinks of it. So my master used to give examples. You know, these examples are so strong that you never forget. Elephant is flying in the sky. Is equal to my honey loves me too much. Don't take honey only as a human being. You know, honey includes cats and dogs and cars, whatever you like and love. Why? Because love is within me. The mind creates an image without any contact with an object in the world, and then it creates a thought pattern that is known as vikalpa, the third category of the thought pattern. The image has no relation with any object of the memory, then it is fancy or imagination. Now answer yourself. How many of you like movies? Yeah. Now examine in terms of the third group of the thoughts. Vikalp, imagination. Because I enjoy living into that imagination. You watch movie, but with awareness. It is a play and a fun. And he watches our language movies, and then she explains in greater detail. You see that? This hero. So I just play, I also watch with her. I say, okay, what is the name of this hero? Okay, oh, that's good, yeah. He seems to be a superhuman. Okay, I will also like to be a superhuman being. Not getting attached, not getting carried away by the imaginary thoughts is one understanding here. Vikalpa. Vikalpa helps us to know the world by duality and division. Vikalpa is a helper. There is another meaning of Vikalpa in why it is a Vikalpa is a helper. That is how I know here is John, here is Kate, here is Lara, here is Alex. I know each one. Vikalpa means alternative. It divides and perceives. So to know the world better, it is better to know in parts. That is what the science does. That is what the science does. Ask the scientists to explain what is body. They say it has 9 or 10 system, different organs. Every organ has tissues, cells. So they start dividing into parts. It gives us a sense. So for knowing the world outside also helps you, the Vikalpa. So Vikalpa has two parts, negative one and the positive one. Don't allow the negative, include the positive. Vikalpa helps us to know the world by duality and division. Clear? Now see, it is the same Vikalpa that helps me to give, it also helps me in deeper and clear understanding by using different words in a thought. There are light and heat in the sun. Two things, light and heat in the sun. If we happen to remove heat from the sun, light is also removed. We use the word, the sun, to know heat and light. You see, I'm using the word sun does not separate light from the heat. Do you understand? Vikalpa helps me to give a true insight also. Vikalpa also puts me into a black spot. Are you understanding? You see a movie, what we say? We have categorized different movies. Love movies. And you are married, you see the love movies, and then you say, oh, there the spouse loved, sacrificed everything for the partner. And the mind starts comparing, look at my spouse. That is a wrong approach. That is why we enjoy watching movies with a negative intent. Just watch it. Now understand. What did I say? The Vikalpa gives us a right perspective by chain of thoughts. How? What is real self? So if I say real self is real self, do you understand? No. Now see the Vikalpa, John. Real self is pure consciousness. Oh, pure consciousness and the self are one. Yes. No, it is truth. Yes. So truth, self and pure consciousness are one. Yes. Heat and light belongs to the sun. Either I say sun, I do not understand. So I say sun gives you the light and the heat. See that? Can you separate them? So the real self, that is why I used to say real self has 5 attributes: pure consciousness, truth, permanent happiness, ananda, love, eternal love, and wisdom. Did you understand the vikalpa? You give a perspective to what you want to understand, positive way. You give a distortion with imagination, with the fancies, watching a movie where you see the spouse loved the partner too much, and then movie is gone. Now you start thinking, my honey does not do like this. Then you are crazy. Totally practical in life. Okay. Vikalpa. So when I say self is of the nature of pure consciousness. Oh, is it? No, on Saturday. Yesterday. We understood the knowledge. We understood the real self as knowledge. Knowledge and the self are one. The way heat and light belongs to the sun. So we understood what exactly is the knowledge. So once you understand that knowledge, you are already into the state of meditation. That is why we say meditation is an effortless, natural, it is a non-practice. Got it? Third group of thoughts. So we have to use the mind. We have to work on the mind. Then instead the mind is working on us. This is the message of the Patanjali. That is why he says all these thoughts can be categorized into 5-fold, and each thought category has two, either painful or non-painful. You understand that? Painful and non-painful in vikalpa. Experience of thought, experience of absence of thought, experience of thought pattern in the first three categories, right? In the fourth one, experience of absence of thought, that is sleep. So I experience the absence of thought does not mean that the thoughts are not there. That is why the sleep is also considered as one of the thought pattern where we do not know. The past impressions are working at a deeper level, but I am totally unconscious. Hence, sleep is also a thought pattern. Do you understand two words? Experience of thought pattern. First three categories. Experience of absence of thought. Experience of presence of thought. Experience of absence of thought. That is also my experience, that there is no thought. So in a waking state, experience of absence of thought can take me to a meditative state. An experience of absence of thought in the unconscious state is what the sleep is. It does not mean the thoughts are not there, but I don't remember, I don't know them. They still continue. Right? I don't know them. So that is known as sleep. How? So sleep is also a thought pattern. What is already stored in my mind? If you go to the smriti, the memory part. So the memory of Lara is already stored in my crazy mind, and that is how I know, I recollect, I relive that impression. That is what the memory is. And when we go little deeper, we'll understand in it. Memory is the retention of the past experiences in the mind. These past experiences are retained in the mind as impressions. These impressions in a potential form is known as vasana in the seed form. So when it is in the seed form, it is known as vasana. So that when the seed becomes the tree, it is known as impression. When these impressions are retrieved as a thought in the mind, it is memory. Seed, tree means sapling in the tree, and it is still in the form of impressions. Sanskaras, you see that? Let me write it so that you will understand. First is seed form is known as vasana. Then second level it becomes tree is sanskara, past impression. It is still not known. Then you have a thought pattern. Right? So you have the vasana, the seed of your previous life. Right? But don't do not get carried away by those people who claim that they will take you to the previous birth. What will happen even if they take you to the previous birth? Will you change? That is not yoga. That has nothing to do with yoga. Are you clear? 5 thought pattern. Why I explained you in detail the right knowledge, right perception, the first group of the thought, we have to live into it. Second group is opposing the right knowledge, so I spend little time. Third and the fourth, the third one, I still spend the time on that vikalpa, that we live into that alternative vikalpa, imagination, fancy states. You simply become aware in your life. Many people start asking me how to become aware. That becomes another problem. So did I give you a clue? That when you want to see what is right, witness perception by inference needs reasoning, asking questions, and that reasoning demands alertness and awareness of your intellect. If you are not aware and alert, nothing will happen. How you become aware and alert? Ask yourself. So now comes the third group. So we have understood the 11 sutras in 2 categories. What are the 2 categories? First category, what is yoga, what is yogic state and what is non-yogic state. Second category, how the mind is the cause of the suffering, and you see that you can categorize them. So once if you categorize them, I'm finalizing the book so you can have that book in that format. So when you categorize these sutras, it's easy to understand them. So from sutra number 5 to 11 is all about how the mind is the cause of the suffering and peace. Now, and from sutra number 12 to 16. How many sutras? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sutras. 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 5 sutras talks in detail about what do you mean by practice. How the practice is to be done. What we say, close your eyes and I'm doing the practice. What practice? Mindfulness. Where the mind is, it is engaged in wrong perception. How long? 50 minutes in 1 hour of meditation. Done? Then what will happen to your meditation? Do you see? Do you see the link? So when I understand the 5 groups of thoughts, I become aware. Come on, mind, I don't need you at this time. So every day I sit in meditation for 1 hour for last 1 year, and every day 55 minutes my mind is living in the last 4 thought pattern, not in the first one. And then I claim that I have been doing the practice for 10 years. Do you understand what I'm saying? The mind is engaged in the wrong knowledge, vikalpa, and vikalpa, pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra. I had moments of sleep, couple of times I wake up and sleep and wake up and sleep, and the mind is living in the memory lane. 55 minutes, 5 minutes, I experience relaxation for 10 years of doing the meditation. That is not a practice. People come to me, I've been doing the practice for 10. Then why you have come to me then? Continue. No, I still have a stress. So do you want to understand and be very clear that the practice that you have done for 10 years is wrong? Throw them out. Are you ready? How can I leave that? I enjoy this. So enjoy that. Live into the stress. On one hand, you say because it has become your habit of doing the same practice for 10 years and you are still in stress, you don't want to use your intellect, you don't want to raise your awareness, and you don't want to live in alertness to claim that there is something wrong. And after all, should I understand that meditation is not a habit? I have left almost 50 different practices, but now I use them to help people. So now come. So 5 principles. What are the 5 principles? 5 sutras. Abhyas vairagyabhyam tannirodha. Abhyas vairagyabhyam tannirodha. Abhyas vairagyabhyam tannirodha. Third time. Abhyas vairagyabhyam tannirodha. Second, 13th sutra. Tatra sthitau yatno abhyasa. Tatra sthitau yatno abhyasah. Tatra sthitau yatno abhyasah. One more time. Tatra sthitau yatno abhyasah. Sutra number 14. Sa tu. Tu means you. Sa tu. Dirghakal. Nirantaryam. Satkar. Sevito. Dradbhumi. Sa tu. Dirghakal. Nirantaryam. Satkar. Sevito. Dradbhumi. Satu. Dirghakal. Nirantaryam. Satkar. I am leaving one phrase, and once we go to that, or Satkar, Adar, Sevito, Dradbhumi. Satu, Dirghakal, Satkar, Adar, Sevito, Dradbhumi. And sutra number 15. Drashta anushravik vishaya vitrashnasya vashikar sangya vairagyam. Drashta anushravik vishaya vitrashnasya vashikar sangya vairagyam. Drashta anushravik vishaya vitrashnasya vashikar sangya vairagyam. And the last sutra in this category, Tat Param Purushkhyatahi. Tat Param Purushkhyatahi Gun Vaitrashniyam. Again, Tat Param Purushkhyatahi Gun Vaitrai. So there is a, again, gun. Gun is different. Vaitrashnasya Vaitrashniyam. So tat param purushkhyatahi gunvaitrashniyam. So now see that in brief, you see that the beauty of it. In the first sutra, what the master is saying, 5 sutras, all about the practice. If you really understand clarity, what the Patanjali says, what exactly is the practice, you change completely. So because we do not have a clarity about the practice, that is why we fail in journey of yoga. So in the first sutra, if you see that briefly, then we'll take up in detail in our next lesson. He says, practice with dispassion. Means what? Practice has 2 elements. One element is so-called, we say, repeated steps, but with dispassion, abhyas vairagya bhyam tan nirodha. How you get rid of all the thought pattern that we have studied just now to reach to the emptiness of the mind. How? Attannirodha. How? By abhyasa, regular practice with wisdom. I can say that, that's what I have been saying it. But here the specific word is regular practice with the dispassion. The highest level of dispassion comes from the contemplation and reflection. That process is known as discernment. Discernment. You see that? So it means the dispassion will come through discernment. And if you live in dispassion, the 6 inner treasures will enter into your life. In short, you see that? Do you understand that? Briefly. And now, second part, if you go to the sutra number 13, the 13th sutra says, Tatra sthito yatano abhyasah. What is the meaning? Literal meaning, simple meaning. Example, I want Lara So that Lara should always be there in my mind during the practice of meditation. That is the meaning of Tatra Sthito Yatno Abhyasa. Another meaning. Do you still remember the 5 subjective states of the mind? Wandering. Chepta Murdhavek Chepta. In the first sutra, 5 subjective states of the mind. Wandering. Obsessed. Lazy. One-pointedness. And empty state. 5 states of the mind. Do you still remember? Do you remember that in which state the yoga begins? The 4th state. What is that 4th state? It is one-pointedness. Now, keeping that knowledge in the mind, read this sutra. What it means? Tatra sthito yatno abhyasa. So mind should go back again and again to the 4th state during the practice of meditation is the real meaning of the practice. That is why I gave an example of Lara. Sorry, Lara. Okay. Little smile, not very much. So now see that. Now in the 3rd sutra, 14 number sutra, so tudirghakal nerantaryam satkar adar sevitu dradbhumi. So did you understand the dispassion? And the mind should live with that particular thought or that particular object during the practice with the dispassion. Right? So he says these 2 things has to be done for a longer period. 1. Regularly. 2. Commitment. 3. To create a strong impression of meditation is the meaning of the sutra number 14. You see this step-by-step approach. And then he says, so he dealt, what he says, practice has 2 elements. One element is one-pointedness with the object, and second is dispassion. Right? Dispassion comes because of discernment, and discernment has to be installed in the intellect. How the intellect will install the discernment? I have to live a life with a little higher awareness. Right knowledge. Are you getting it? How they are connected? Lara, you will find lot of tips for counseling. But for ourselves also. So now see that. So he has explained what exactly is the one-pointedness of the mind, how it can be sustained by regular practice for a longer period with a commitment and sincerity. Now he is explaining dispassion part. There are 2 parts of the practice, dispassion and practice. So now he is explaining the dispassion part. That dispassion part we can do it 24/7. We live our life in dispassion. The life will change. So what he is saying? Drashta anushravikah vishaya vitrashnasya vashikara sangya vairagyam. So he is explaining the 2 stages of dispassion. So if you understand clearly the 5 groups of the thought pattern, and based on that you start changing your mind, that is a part of the dispassion. So if the dispassion is, say for example, 50%, that is what is explained in the sutra number 15. But if it is 100%, you always live in the state of meditation 24/7. Tata param purushikyatahi gunavatrashnyam. Means what? Do you need to practice anything? No. Tat param, dispassion is at the peak when there is a knowledge of the self. Means what? You live in the highest state of dispassion, you are already in the state of mindfulness. So if any master from our tradition says that mindfulness or meditation is an effortless, natural, non-practice, yes, it is. But are you in that state? No. Follow the practice. Follow what the Patanjali says. Let me have few questions and then we'll give a break and we will take up this question, these 5 sutras in detail. Do you find it very easy to understand? Sutra number this to this is all about practice. Sutra number this and this is all about the thought pattern. And then you reflect these sutras, listen to it again and again. Listen to it again and again. So when you listen to it again and again, you become, your intellect sharpens, it raises the awareness lessly. And when you raise your awareness, then what happens? All these thoughts goes away. You live in the right knowledge. When you live in the right knowledge, the practice begins and succeeds.
Girish, I know we've talked about this many times in the past. So dispassion, it's really not being involved emotionally at all, either way. So no joy, no not joy. Am I getting that or not?
Dispassion. I was getting pleasure from an object outside and I am regularly seeking that object. This is what the passion is. Now, or it is just the opposite, that is also a passion. Now, dispassion, I realize that pleasure is not present in that object. It is neither pain or pleasure from the objects outside. Now, understand, that's a very good that you repeat the same question. So understand it clearly. Don't understand from keeping the knowledge of the Western psychology. Now I see clearly in my intellect that this object is not giving me any pleasure. Why? What is the realization? Pleasure is not present in the object. So what happens? The hesitation in the mind to seek that object goes away and is replaced by the calmness and the peace. So in the state of the dispassion, you are always in calm and the peace. But still, you cannot signify, you cannot define the dispassion. Leads to dispassion, creates calmness and peace. No, dispassion reveals the inner calmness and peace.
So it's not rooting in, for me, not anything outside of myself.
Yes.
It's dispassion to everything.
Now you see now again your focus is on the objects of the world outside. So your definition of the dispassion, that I totally feel aloof from the world outside. No, that is not. Yeah, I am not.
That's not what I mean.
My mind is not seeking pleasure from the objects outside. One. So when it is not seeking any pleasure from the objects outside, I also understand that it neither gives me pain and pleasure. So my mind enters into a right perception, right knowledge. Hello Lara, how are you? I love you, I love everyone. That continues in the state of dispassion.
But if I love the bus, then the bus is going to run me over.
You are again talking of expectation and the pleasure. So you don't go to the boss and directly say, hey honey, I love you. You keep your mind calm and peaceful.
But I have to have, I love the bus, but I don't want the bus to hit me. Like the car. So I love the car, but I don't want the car to hit me.
Yes.
If I love everything,
yes.
but I'm not attached to anything, but I also have to have some sort of discernment.
Yes.
So I know if I say that I'm going to love the car and I'm going to hug the car while it's moving at 75 miles an hour, it's going to kill me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So when I run the car at 75 miles an hour, I'm already attached. I'm seeking a pleasure in driving 75 miles. That is not dispassion. So I get out of the dispassion.
I'm not driving.
Yeah.
I'm on the street.
Yeah.
So I'm standing on the street and I'm like, oh, there's a car over there. I love the car.
Good. So now...
I love the car. It's in the middle of the street that I'm going to catch it. It's also going to run me over.
Yeah. So you have to pay attention. So we have to redefine in our mind that love for the car, for the sake of car, not for the sake of myself, is the discernment. And that leads to dispassion. See, you're right. First step, love for the sake of love. Love not for the sake of myself. The moment it is myself, then it is attachment, then it is passion. But love for what is beautiful, what is good, let me explain it, let me understand it, let me express it. So what happens? In the highest state of dispassion, the mind is very clear, calm. Mind says, I love you because you are me. You are not different from me.
So my thought is that you love everyone because everyone's true essence is peace, love, happiness, and wisdom.
You awaken to love first so that you see everyone is no different from you. You experience the oneness. That oneness manifests love. That oneness manifests appreciation. Now intellectually I say, I have to love everyone. It is a burden on me. Because I have learnt yoga, no. I work on my mind until that real self is revealed. And now that revelation will solve your problem. The mind will not have any doubt, not of passion or of dispassion.
I love everyone, but I'm not having lunch with everybody.
You have already divided yourself. So until we reach to that state of awakening, so first you have divided the world that I love everyone and still. So moment you use the word still, the mind still have a duality and a division. That duality and a division will continue to move into passion directly or indirectly. And then when we have a division, then our intellect says how to understand, how to love with the boss, how to love with the spouse, how to love with the teacher, how to love with the stranger. Then the intellect tries to find a solution with a duality and a division. So here what the Patanjali is saying, dispassion. Dispassion means you have stopped perceiving that other is different from you. You cannot hit.
Okay, but what about?
You cannot hit your right hand with the left hand. First, I should reach to that state. I have reached to that state. So now you create a hypothetical situation. I love in this situation. I don't love in that situation. That is hypothetical to the higher step of meditation. So there the intellect...
But then now I'm going to bring something in from Western psychology because I think there needs to be some point of a boundary